It's just a privilege. We've been standing here just for a moment trying to take it all in, that we're, actually, in the body of water where our King actually taught. And he gave many parables. He taught several lessons, preached sermons. One of the most popular one, I was going over my mind like which one would I preach when I got here, because he did so many. But I think the one that stands out to me is when in Luke chapter 5, and it came to pass as the people pressed upon him to hear the word of Yah, that he stood by Lake Gennesaret, which is this lake right here. We don't know exactly where he stood, but we know he stood right here on this lake. And it says, and he saw two ships standing by the lake, but the fishermen were gone out of them and were washing their nets. So
there's some boats on it too.
Yeah, so on this lake, of course, they've done some real heavy fishing, and this lake has been producing fish ever since. When we first got here, we actually saw fish swimming around in here. So of course, this is a very important place for commerce. As you can see, it is huge, and it's definitely big enough to support people who were fishing full time, to support their families. He entered into one of the ships, which was Simon. Now that word really should be boat. These are not like huge cargo ships. They're just like fishing vessels, and you can see them around. They're still around today. And he entered into one which was Simon's, and prayed him that he would thrust out a little from the land. And he sat down and taught the people out of the ship. Now when he had left speaking, he said unto Simon, launch out into the deep, and let down your nets for a draw. And if there's any message, I guess, that I want to share today, it is those words where he says, launch out into the deep. So it wasn't too long ago that I shared this message with our worldwide assembly. I may have came out of a different book, but it was still this message of launching out into the deep. It had to do, that particular word, man, you got to go out into an area that may not be completely familiar with you. Like here we are, back in our homeland, after thousands of years, we have made it back. And that's only because there had to come a time where we had to get out of our comfort zone, out of what we thought was who we are and whose we are, and what our realm of influence should be. And now we've discovered that, no, we had to launch out. And launching out into the deep brought us here. Now, here's the purpose. It's in the Bible. He says, launch out into the deep. Then he says, let down your net. So the idea then is the work is not going to just happen for you. But once you launch out in the deep, you still have to let down the net, which means the job that you know well, which is the job of fishing, in this case, you're going to use that. You're not going to just get out on a boat and do no work at all. No, you're going to still launch the net. But this time, when you launch the net, you're going to pull up a great draught of fish. So let's see what it says. You all right there, Cameron? Cameron?
A fish was nibbling on my toe.
Behind the camera. It says, and Simon answered him, Master, we have toiled all night and have taken nothing. So Simon here, honestly, on this water somewhere, was talking to the master and telling him that they had fished all night and had not taken in anything. What is that about? Well, I'm not saying that Simon completely doubted the master. I just don't think that he gave the master the proper credit that he probably should have, because, of course, the Messiah in Simon's mind was a preacher. You know, he was actually Hamashiach. But Simon was like a professional fisherman. That's what they did for a living. That's how they fed the family. That's how little Kiefer Jr. ate. So anyway, he was like, we've toiled all night, and we've caught nothing. Now we have been in the shallows, and it's been amazing. I wish we could show you, but I know the camera's not going to show.
With the little fish?
Like right in the shallows.
Yeah.
So
let me see if I can.
it's pretty obvious that what he was saying was you don't have to go way out. Now, if he said launch out into the deep, and I don't know if Hula can get a shot of that, but that means we're going way out past that light pole. So the deep is not something like if you're thinking that they were only going to row out just like a few steps, you are grossly misunderstanding this passage. If he said go out into the deep from here, he was talking about a long ways from the shore. Because we're actually in the water right now, and we're maybe 20 feet from the shore. And as you can see, I'm still sitting on a rock. So this is all, there's some fish right there. Shot at 2 fish, I don't know if you got them. Sitting right behind me. And they're big enough to eat too.
Oh, I saw that one. I don't know if I can see it on the camera.
We don't know if the camera caught them, but there's a bunch of fish right here in the shallows. And I think that's what they were trying to say. It's like, man, we've been working all night and we've caught nothing. So there's even more to it, and I'm gonna move on quickly. Not only was it the fact that it was the shallows, but they net fished at that time. So therefore, one of the surprise attacks that they would use on fish is that they would put the nets down, they would fling the nets over and catch the fish by surprise, because of course fish have eyes and they can see. So when the master said let down your net for a drought of fish, in their mind I'm like, okay, that's not really how you do it, but nevertheless at your word. Matter of fact, let me read exactly what he says. Master, we've toiled all night and have taken nothing. Nevertheless, at thy word I will let thy net down. And when he had this done, they enclosed a great multitude of fish, and their net brake. So when they obeyed Yah, let him first of all have their vessel, went out into deep water, went out of their comfort zone, continued to do work, because that's what they were called to do. Then Yah then brought the increase, which is what he always does. We do our part, he does his part. But watch this. It was at that point, the Bible says, they brought up so many fish, nets started breaking. In other words, they couldn't hold the amount of fish that were caught in the net. Now watch this. As we are obedient to the Most, and as we surrender our boat and our energy and our time and our understanding, our will to Yah, he then promises to bring the increase, and it won't be big enough for like one group of people to handle. That's not what he's talking about. We're in the time where this next drought of fish will be the drought that's going to catch the awakening remnant of the tribe of Yehuda and the other 12 tribes that have been scattered worldwide. And there will be, it's going to be a remnant. But that remnant to us is going to be small in comparison to how many of us there is, but it's going to be a huge number compared to the amount of the remnant we see right now, or the people that we see right around us. So let me conclude this. It says, and their net did break, and they beckoned unto their partners, which were in the other ship, that they should come and help them. And they came and filled both ships, so that they began to sink. Simon Peter, when he saw it, fell down at Yehoshua's feet, saying, Depart from me, for I am a sinful man, O Yah. For he was astonished at all that were with him at the draught of the fishes that they had taken. And so was also James and John, the sons of Zebedee, which were partners with Simon. And Yehoshua said unto Simon, Fear not, from henceforth thou shalt catch men. And when they had brought their ships to land, they forsook all and followed him. So here's the thing. The faith of Simon obviously, and the trust, because the word faith in Hebrew means to, is the word emunah, and it means to obey. It means to follow. It means to imitate. It doesn't mean just like a belief in something. When they had followed the command of Yah, and the results were so great that the boats began to sink, then they're walking with Yah and obeying his voice. That energy and that faith was then spread to the others. So much so that they said this: we're going to forsake our nets and we're going to follow him. This is what we've been blessed to do at the Awakening Remnant. We know that we're not the not the only people that have been called out into the deep, but we know that we have been called to do it, and we give the Most High all honor and glory and praise. And as a result, yes, fish are beginning to come. Who's the fish? The lost sheep of the house of Yisrael. Read the book of Jeremiah, and you're going to find that. And yes, they are coming in, and yes, we're beckoning to the other ships to do the same thing. Launch out into the deep and pull up a drop. Remember that in order to follow Yah, we got to forsake self. And right now, Hulda and I, these children, we're completely out of our comfort zone. But if it means reaching or catching one or two more of the lost sheep of the house of Israel, the fish of the Sea of Galilee, then we're willing to do that. And we give him all the praise, honor, and glory, because in the end, ultimately, he'll be the one who's going to put out the great net and draw in the great draught of fish. And I'm just happy that I'm one of those that's been caught by him. Hallelujah. So the 12 tribes of Israel and companions, shalom from the sea, honestly, literally from the Sea of Galilee. We also want those of you who have been supporting us to know one thing. We said we were going to come out, we said we were going to do this work, and here we are. We mentioned that we were going to come and preach a message that will go worldwide from the Sea of Galilee, and we're doing it. So we want to thank you for all the support that you've given, and those who want to continue to support us. We are out here way away from home. You can go to the Awakening Remnant Coalition and hit the donate button, and you can send your support so that you can continue to help us do this kind of work and this kind of ministry worldwide. When we get back, we have a lot to share. So, you know what, let me just tag this video with this. The internet here is just not fast like in the States. So live streaming is not working like we wanted it to, but we are taking a lot of videos and we are doing messages at these different points of interest, and we're meeting people, and we will be uploading those. We just are not able to do it live streaming like we wanted to. But we're going to try to put this up as soon as possible. Remember, if you want to support, you can go to Awakening Remnant Coalition and hit donate. And we want to just honestly say to everybody who has helped us in this journey, from the bottom of our hearts, Toda Rabah.
The people at the Ark in Fresno.
Oh, of course.
Hi.
Don't forget to have a special shout out to everybody at the Ark.
They're the kids. They're still intact. We haven't left them anywhere. Say hi to everybody at home. Jade Nari.
Say hello to everybody that's at the Ark.
Tell them how what you're doing and how you're having fun and, you know, all that stuff.
Hi.
So they're completely uninterested, so I guess that means they're having fun. I think they're trying to make some kind of fishing poles out of bamboo sticks.
That we found on the shore.
And we're gonna catch the fish.
You're gonna catch it?
Upside down on rocks and try to get everything.
Okay. All right. Tell everybody shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
Okay. So let me do that officially on behalf of Ruth and myself to Ark Fresno. You all know we love you, and we really honestly miss you, and we can't wait to get back to share with you this wonderful experience. Thank you for supporting and taking care of everything at the Ark while we've been gone. One love. Shalom.